The fascinating run of the Tigress of Nigeria at the Olympic Games came to an end at the hands of the US Hoopers, 74 to 88 in the quarterfinals. It was a beautiful run. It was a beautiful run, but it had to come to an end someday. We all believe in shades of 1996 Atlanta, where the dream team went all the way. But this is not the dream team. This is the Tigress, and they plotted their own path against, and it ended at the hands of a team that is the defending champions of the Olympics. They have gone 59 matches unbeaten, and Nigeria had to be another scalp at them. But you want to capture the essence of this beautiful ride and encourage the girls. And I want to say big kudos to the Nigerian media for doing this. The will with Jude or Bafemi, put it this way: the Tigress make Olympic basketball history in quarterfinal loss to the US. And then another headline that really tickles my fancy is Paris 2024 Olympics, a fascinating run. FIBA salutes brave the Tigers after USA defeat. That's from the Daily Post. I saw something from the Punch. I think I can't really get that. But the Cable, the Pulse, Paris, how Rena Wakama made history with the Tigress, giving a big commendation to the coach, Rena Wakama, 32, first woman to do it. And I heard where she was talking to the minister, hoping that more women will come into it. I pray so too, Rena. But there was one Olori Buruku headline that wanted to denigrate. Yes, one Olori Buruku headline. And this one is Olympic Paris 2024, US / Nigeria to set up Australia women's basketball semifinals. You see why I call it an Olori Buruku run? Because they do not want to recognize the heroic run of the Tigress of Nigeria, first African team to get to the quarterfinals in basketball, male or female. First African team to do it. And along the way, we defeated world number 3, Australia, defeated world number 5, Canada, lost narrowly to France, and then met world number 1, the USA. And in all that the BBC will say is that USA thrashed Nigeria. What an Olori Buruku headline. And that's why I said it. Because you cannot want to say that you want to ignore that run. What happened to all that journalism, all those you taught young journalists? Look at it from the underdog story. You just want to forget that and kiss the ass of the US. Even the ESPN had some measure of empathy for Nigeria and showcase their achievements. But BBC, they only had to give us Olori Buruku headlines to bring us down. Just imagine the way FIBA on their Twitter handle captured it. And it was Daily Post. Big credit to Daily Post that picked it up. According to FIBA from the Daily Post, a fascinating run that we will remember for a long time. That's what FIBA wrote on X. Nigeria, you are leaving Paris on the highest note. That's how you encourage a team. Not with your Olori Buruku headline BBC. Oh my God. It is me that is fighting with BBC right now. But seriously, come on, man. You should do better than that. Just say they thrash. Where did your own team get to? Talk Sports with the big ID. Frankie Alapa is my name. Like, subscribe, and keep watching. A whole lot is happening. At the end of the video, you have something to take home with you. Because we'll be critically looking at why this team lost, how we can rectify it, and then how we can ensure that this team comes back and do better, not just at the Olympics, but at the World Championship, and in fact, keep on dominating Africa. So 74 to 88, that's how it ended, and the stats show it that the USA dominated from the first quarter, 26 to 17, second quarter, 26 to 16, third quarter, 24 to 15. The end result by the quarter may look oppressive, but we have to look at the inner stats, because if you look at it from the stats, you would think that it was it was closer than that. Let's take a look at it. Let's take a general overview of how it went down. For field goals, the USA made 34, Nigeria made 28. That's a critical point there. And if you look at it, Nigeria had 69 attempts to the USA 63. So they were 54% from the field, while Nigeria was 40.6. On the three-pointer line, it was even, 6 apiece, even though Nigeria had more attempts at 3 points. And then from the 3 free throws, the US had 14 out of 22 made. Nigeria had 12 out of 14. They forced Nigeria to commit fouls. Nigeria didn't have enough of the fouls. Even though we were more prolific at the free throw line, just like we were against Canada and against France, the USA ensured that they did not allow us have a free reign of the free throws. Assists, they had more assists. Their centers were moving the ball around better with 31 assists. Rebounds, they overwhelmed us, 41 rebounds. Why did this happen to us? If you look at the game against France, it was a similar way that the USA team played, that France played. They bullied us. And one of the reasons this happened is because of the tactical changes made by Team USA coach Cheryl Reeves. From the first game we played against Australia, Nigeria's tactics became very open to everyone. High pressure basketball, high defense, full court defense, very energetic, and one of the most hard-working teams. You remember when Ezine Kalu says that whenever they step on the court, they smell blood. They have a very relentless defense. So to counter that, the coach of the USA changed tactics, brought in younger, more energetic players. She brought in Jackie Young, who played as a starter instead of Diana Taurasi. Jackie Young scored 15 points, shooting 60% from the field. This is what she said when after the game. I know my role on the team was to come in and be aggressive on the defensive end, be physical and get stops in, playing in transition on the offensive. That's what Jackie Young said, and she ended up with 15 points. Now, what was the implication of this? It ensured that our shooting guards, our arsenal, did not get a moment of respite. They didn't get a moment of respite. They were not getting their ranges right. And if you see that, Amukamara, who got the highest number of points for Nigeria, 19 points. Now you might think that that was high, but she made 18 attempts and could only make 8, which was 16 points. Amy Okonkwo, our captain, scored 17 points, but could only make 4 out of 13 attempts. Then the chief Arsenal herself could only make 16. And out of 12 field goals attempts, she made 6. So they were restricted. And one of the restrictions also was that from the 3-point line, they didn't allow Nigerians any respite. Out of 7 attempts from Amukamara, Promise Amukamara, she made only 3. Amy Okonkwo, out of 8 attempts from the 3-point line, she only made 1. And Ezine Kalu did not have only 1 attempt at the 3-point line. So the job of Jackie Young and what's her name now, Kesley Plum, was to stop our shooters, and it worked. It worked. That was one of the tactical changes made by Coach Cheryl Reeve. Secondly, tactically, the coach ensured that they outmuscled the Nigerian side. They hustled them, but then they outmuscled them. If you see the average height of the Nigerian side, it is 6'1". The average height of the 6'1", with the shortest being at 7'5", with the shortest being 5'7", and the tallest being 6'5". For the US, the average height of their basketball players is 6'3", with the shortest being 6'3", and the tallest being 6'7". Even AJ Wilson is not even up to 6'7", but she dominated in the center with 20 points and 7 rebounds, with 20 points and 11 rebounds. That's where you see the number of rebounds, offensive rebounds, higher than that of Nigeria, because they bullied us in the center. They used their height advantage, they used their size advantage to bully the Tigers. Again, talking about tactics, changing of tactics. Nigerian team had more time. Our starters had more time on the field of play, on the court. Promise Amukamara had 35 minutes. Amy Okonkwo had 36 minutes, 53 seconds. AC Nekalo had 38 minutes, 44 seconds and could only score 16 points. Next to her is Balogun, the shooting guard, on 31 minutes. Look at that of the US. 25 minutes for AJ Wilson, and she scored 20. Jay Young, 18 minutes. B. Stewart, 19 minutes. Collier, 24 minutes, 17 minutes. The only person who stayed longer was AJ, who was the center, because she plays in the WNBA. I wanted to get more points. So tactically, team rotation, they kept getting the girls fresh. Because if you're playing high intensity game, you need to get your team fresh always. Rena got it wrong there. Either because she wanted her experienced hands to be on it, or she didn't trust the other ones enough. But they played hard, they played relentless, but she overworked the team. Maybe because we didn't get it right, or just, I don't know. And of course, in the course of the game, some of our players didn't play. They didn't just walk out. Secondly, I told you there were two reasons why we lost. Squad depth, which also comes again with the number of time these players stayed on the court or played, number of minutes that they had on the court. The bench for the USA brought their game. We'll be doing a lot of stats here today, so let me show you. Squad depth. So if you're playing a high pressure game like that, you need to keep the squad fresh all the time. So you need to bring in those. So it's either Rena Wakama did not trust the other ones and wanted to settle for the very experienced guys, or they were not just good enough to be a part of our team. Maybe they were forced on it. Just my theory anyway. So this is it. For the US team, the starters made 55 points. The bench team made 33 points. For Nigeria, the starters made 65 points. The bench only made 9. And if you look at the time for those on the bench, Musa, our power forward, had only 18 minutes. Abo had 4 minutes. The other Nabosi had 11 minutes. Ejiofor had 1 minute. Taiwo Adeyeye Okoro did not play. So some were really overworked. Squad depth was the case there. So it wasn't as if the USA just came and blew us away. No, they didn't have the squad. It's not as if they just destroyed them. No, they didn't have the squad. It wasn't. And with the way they played, that they had more steals, more turnovers. And more steals and more turnovers showed that they matched them for speed. They matched them for physicality. But the USA had a fresher squad and could grind them. And that's what happened. The essence of all this will be what the coach will say.
Okay, we've got to give these girls the resources and the support for them to be able to, get to the podium and get a medal, okay?
And it's all administrative. The fact, again, is we don't lack for talent. What we lack is administrators who understand and who have a vision to push this team. I know the Basketball Federation are having a whole lot of issues, administrative issues, which is always the case for Nigeria. But this team with Rena have shown that quality, there's talent in Nigeria. As she said, they're all born in Nigeria and they want to play for Nigeria. We need to keep this team together and use this, market this team to generate funds, because that's always the excuse: no money, no money, no money. This is a stepping stone for these girls to not only dominate Africa, to show that Nigeria has talents. And it will bring in more girls to want to play for Nigeria from all over the world, because you have now become the bride of Africa. There's opportunity and there's a platform. Get your acts together, get your shit together, and let's see basketball grow. Let's not be crash and burn like football. That's my 2 pieces on this. Tell me what you guys think. Like I said, like it, subscribe it, and more will come. Frankie Dimudialapa is the name. Toby Sports, that's my game. Now I'm the greatest. Have a good day.